we were, was it districts? No, it was Metro. And we contemplated whether Ike had another foot and a half in him. Right?
Yeah.
We were like,
because he was about, it was just right at about 18 inches shy of the
yeah, he
all
was like
class,
65.7 or something like that.
and he needed to
65.6.
get to 66.11.
And I was like, does he have another foot and a half in him? And we kind of joked, and I was like, oh, maybe he's sandbagging, or, I joked
like
about
a lot.
adrenaline.
It seemed like a lot.
But it did seem like a lot this late in the season.
But he closed about a foot of it at districts.
And then he knocked it out on his first throw at state. Like, was he ramping up to this?
I think, well, I will say this, like a lot of kids need, credit their coaches and stuff. But like in this case, like his dad's his coach and has been his whole life.
They look thick as thieves.
Yeah. And they are. And it's great. Like it's an awesome story. Cause he also coached tight ends and D-line or one of those two at Central, right? Football. So, yeah, so I think a lot of credit goes there. And I think he just kind of kept, like he peaked at the right spot. He just, right time. He just kept getting better and better and better. And then boom. First throw is a little impressive though. You would think that maybe like it'd be on 2 or 3 or in the finals or something.
Came right just, out of the gate though.
Yeah, right out of the gate, just end it. And then the pressure's off a little bit more too, right? So you're just kind of do your deal. And it's pretty cool to see him do that, because that was one that you just thought was probably not going to happen. I mean, you're almost throwing it out of.
You're almost half a century that record stood.
Yeah, it's like 40 years. 80. Yeah. Is that what it was?
And you're throwing it, like you're almost throwing it out of the like shot pit.
Yeah, he was almost out of real estate.
Yeah, like he almost threw it to the fence. Like it almost. I mean, now we're feet away from
he makes it look so easy.
So that's what I was gonna say. Like with that slide step, it just looks so casual.
Yeah, he just, his expression never
changes.
Turns
and flips it out there, and like, oh, there we go.
I mean, that is the same guy that I saw scoop up 2 bad snaps off the turf and kick it with the other foot, though. So I know he's a good athlete.
He did do that. He was their punter?
Yeah,
he's their punter, tight end, and defensive end.
I definitely know he's a good athlete. So, how about Patillo? I get
sophomore from Bell West.
I get the Patillo. Like I know Jacob likes Padilla, so I don't want to butcher the young lady's name, but just a sophomore, and you talk about making it look easy.
Well, she was someone that, like, even in like grade school and middle school, she was like gonna be the person, right? I was gonna say be the man, but that would be weird. So she was always gonna kind of just be that. And there was even thought where last year as a freshman, like she might not even go out for track at the school and just focus on like USA track stuff. So I mean, that's how good she is. It's extremely impressive what she did even last year and this year. So I would imagine the next 2 years she'll get a lot of run, like, and deservedly so.
More impressive what she's doing, or our milers.
Probably the milers at this point, because those like 4 minutes in a 1600 is ridiculous for high school. That's insane. Like it's crazy. And that was when it's kind of a dud yesterday when neither one of them kind of popped and broke that. But the backstretch the wind was so bad on that backstretch.
It was brutal.
Yeah, it was a little tough. So, but I like Juan at Fremont, right? We're talking about he might be an Olympian. Like that dude. And when's the last time we had an Olympian like runner from Nebraska?
Didn't Emily Sisson get close?
What'd you say?
Didn't Emily Sisson get close?
She was close.
Yeah. Like, so it's been maybe, I don't know. Like, I'm not a track historian, but
it's rare.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's probably never been a thing.
All right. So I'm rocking Omaha because they've got a big one today in the semis in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
The Mustang honk over here is rolling with Miller North. Is East just too much of a juggernaut, or how are we thinking here? Because I couldn't be happier. Ravi has no idea on the relationship between Bob and Miller, head coach, and how much I think he's been through.
Yeah, I didn't know until yesterday.
Together in the baseball community, from the young guys on up, from pitching communities to hitting communities. Like Bob has kind of seen and done it all, and I get it. It was a kind of a risky hire, but he turned this thing around in a hurry.
Yeah, year one making state, right? Upsetting who they upset to make it last year? I forget.
Look at Will on it with Alice Smith.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one. I saw that.
All right, Will. Will's pretty.
Yeah. So baseball is your Bob was at Millard West for a while, right? Runs JUCO route stuff too. Like that's his thing. So big baseball guy.
And he gives all my baseball. He's probably the reason why I have so many baseball hats. So he sends me 2 a year. Every year, yeah.
You never wear a hat.
I know, but they're pretty. It used to be so probably this was like pre-COVID maybe, or COVID. For a while, a baseball hat was my picture.
Your profile picture?
Yeah.
Yeah. Year one, making it to state, upset through districts to make it to state. Fall short, 0-2, 2 in Q last year, and then this year to make the final. When I would say no one expected them to do that outside of their own, walls. I think it's pretty impressive what he's done there in 2 years. I think it's really, really impressive. So
I think it's cool that kind of the baseball community's kind of gotten outside the box with kind of boxing in these coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Bob's obviously a little different background. I think Damon Day over at Scut took some stones.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Low unconventional with that. I kind of like that. With what's happened at baseball.
Yeah, and you have I will never forget standing there for 3.5 hours in one locked in position for the Scott Gretna East 15-inning game the other night, though. So that was fun.
Especially to see nothing cross the plate. It's like
it wasn't like it was 8-8 in the 14th inning. It was 2-2.
Like playoff hockey where you felt like the next goal wins it.
Yeah. It wasn't very much. It wasn't my favorite thing to do ever. I'll say that. It was kind of neat though. I will say it was neat because like kids were just competing. Like, listen to this. So Dylan Van Dyke, who, by the way, when we talk about athlete of the year, that guy probably needs to be very squarely in the conversation.
He'll be in the conversation.
Like, he's at least a finalist, if not win it. If you think
he could be a multi-sport state champ.
He was basketball and football.
So now we could get a.
No, they lost to Gretna East.
That's right. We can't get 3. That's right.
But he made one game away from. That's pretty impressive. And he was like the guy, obviously, on the football team. And he started for their basketball team. And oh, by the way, he threw 5 shutout.
Tell that to Quinn or Kaliga though about the football thing.
No, they weren't throwing it. Someone had to throw him the ball. Right?
Did you see that third quarter against Bennington? Little twin bro got a lot of receptions. He went to the security blanket.
Yes. But Dylan Van Dyke threw 5 shutout innings the other day in relief, like from the 8th through the 13th inning, and threw 82 pitches. And the dude isn't throwing like gas, right? Like we're just out there balling. Like, so I thought that performance was pretty impressive. And Gretna East resolved to win 2 against a really good Scut team and face their 2 best pitchers. in a day was pretty impressive. But
can I stay on the Gretna East thing for a second and talk soccer?
Yeah,
we don't really have a comp to what they did, right? With going from almost an entire team going from one school to another,
right.
keeping your same coach, basically winning 4 state titles. Like we just is great. It doesn't seem right, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah, so that was something that like last year after they won it, Gretna East girls soccer, when they won it, was like, oh my gosh, they first year school and they win a state championship. I'm like, yeah, but like
they just won 2 together previously.
Yeah, I'm like it's not the same thing, right?
How did that transition? You and I think talked about it a little off air a couple of times. How did the known transition go over between the schools? Because it was kind of it was known like, hey, he's going here, they're going here. Like, was it just kind of accepted?
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was. They knew before, like when Gretna East, split. They knew like that Chase was going, and then they knew like all them other people were going, or like a lot of the players were going to be at East. I think it's just the way the borders were drawn. That's just kind of how it worked out. And I guess I don't know. Like if you're a coach, wouldn't you want to go in the brand new school, right? Like
where are we going to slot Sonora?
She's probably up there somewhere.
Right?
I mean, she did score the most goals in a season in history last year. Not this year, last year. She's pretty prolific, I would say. Gretna East, that senior class, what was it, 60-1?
Yeah.
In 4 years, and 4 state titles. It's pretty good. Was it 60? It was right around 60. I don't know.
I just know the one loss.
Yeah, it was. I think it was 58-1 before the semis. I think it's right at 60. Close. It's give or take 1 or 2 on the other side of that number. Which is impressive.
It's pretty cool too that some of these young people are so unassuming, right? Ike's really unassuming, and Snore her interview, like but we're just getting, I think, better. But I don't know about I'm just talking about the poise behind the mic and the behaviors behind like the players. It's kind of cool.
Well, I think it's kind of more of like it's expected now. Like I think they expect to be like if you're on that level, you expect to be interviewed and talked about and those sort of things.
Maybe for Sonora, but not necessarily Ike. I think Ike is clearly is how they both were raised, but one is much more used to the limelight than the other. Because what I would have asked, and why won't you guys ask him how he's been able to do this with a glide step? Like that's the $64,000 question, and I don't know if my sister was a thrower, so that's why I pay attention. But how he did it, I think, is incredible. We just assume like, oh man, this guy. No, like his technique, and he kind of got into it with Lauren on the news about like just the practice and the repetitions. But his technique is incredible.
Yeah, I am not a track throwing aficionado would be the word. And I also wasn't there the other day. I was at baseball, so I didn't have a chance to ask him those questions.
What time are you heading over today?
Oh, hearing about whenever you guys get done talking to me.
Yeah, going early.
Yeah, I mean, might as well, right? I ain't got nothing else to do.
Jeez.
Just watch out for those birds.
Shane, I'm gonna punch you in the face.
Don't be a bully.
Don't matter to me.
So no, I do kind of, I like getting there a little early, right, and just kind of taking in the landscape, the scene. Class C game should be good though.
I'm getting anybody who is somebody to go that is a high schooler to go to see the Colonels and the Clippers.
Yeah, you're gonna have your Colonels hat on or shirt on, or what are we doing here?
So I have a sweatshirt, but it doesn't have a hood, so I don't wear it, and I don't have a hat. So I'm just gonna have to. I don't know. I can't do too much because Dallas will be mad at me that I'm playing favorites. But I'm significantly closer to.
That's like your best friend.
It is actually, yeah, it is.
So who cares? Do what you want. That's like your nephew.
Yeah, pretty much.
So,
and everybody loves everybody loves Aiden too. So I think a lot of the guys are going to come on.
I was gonna say, F them. Do what you want.
Dallas is my dude.
No, yeah. Hey, let me tell you something.
I played with Twig. Verse has Malcolm Roots. There's a florist in town.
Blah 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 blah.
It's a really dumb story, but there's a florist in town who I always go to for my flowers, and she knows way more about me than I do. And her grandson plays for Malcolm, so I feel like I was cheering for him to make it to the finals.
Well, this is the Class C baseball game. Is the game that that's the game that everyone expected it to be. Like, this is the game, right? Like, when I went to their game against each other, that Central City won at Malcolm, was a month or two, I don't know, sometime it was a month ago or something. Like, neither one of them pitched their top two pitchers on purpose because of the anticipation for that this matchup was going to be the matchup. So it is, and it's here, and it's cool because they're the two best teams and have been in Class C all year. And hopefully it's a good game. It's like,
what do you think happens in B?
Oh man, anybody got a pitcher left?
It's definitely called arms.
It could be a new pitcher every inning. For both teams, there could just be like
that. I do.
That's why I wish the weather was a little better. Warm. Arms on short rest. Yeah. I don't enjoy the cold weather.
Yeah. It kind of sucks when you've got like the championship game ends up feeling like a Tuesday college game where it's just pitching staff wise where you kind of
it is like a gauntlet
that's
though for state base. It's hard.
No, it is. It's like
hard.
Yeah.
Well, don't lose. Don't.
He said, "Don't lose.
Don't lose your first game. Then you could be like Lincoln East and be like, "Hey, we got our guy throwing today."
Wow. Okay.
Sorry, Millard North.
You and Tim Verghese for winning is easy.
I'm not saying winning is easy.
Just like, hey man, just win your games. I don't know. It's not that easy. But I get it.
But okay, Millard North goes into Wednesday undefeated, and then they kind of lay an egg, don't hit at all against Elkhorn South. So that forces them to play another game in which they handle Elkhorn South and make it to
they dropped the crooked number, right? It was 10?
Yeah, 8 in the second one. 8-0.
Yeah. So don't lose the first one, then you have more pitching line.
Hey, send a memo over to your guys. Sautter said,
hey, don't lose the first.
No. Don't do that, because that's not what I was saying.
It's literally what you just said.
I'm texting Bob right now.
No, I will text him too. And I'm going to see him. No, don't say. See, this is where I get annoying to people.
Because they repeat the exact thing you said to other people?
No, because now it's like, Sautter said that you guys were going to lose. That's not what I said.
No, you said you shouldn't lose the first one.
Yeah. And every coach would probably agree, right?
I'm just going to let them know. I'm just going to relay what you said.
I just love how coaches use what I say as for motivation for their teams. Like they need that.
I'm with you, Sautter. You get a bad rap.
Say what you got to say.
Say what you want to say.
I did not know that Jim in Minnesota was not a fan. Why did you send me?
No, we had a good conversation.
He's actually he's a normal. He's a regular good guy.
No, we sent DMs back and forth.
What was his beef?
Just the way I discuss. So to be very clear here, I'll air this all out. Okay. To be very clear, not, private conversations, but so I actually like Matt Rule. I like Nebraska. I think they got the right person for the job.
It makes sense what Jim might have been mad at because he loves Nebraska.
Yeah, I actually wish Nebraska would win every single game because everybody's mood in this state is much better when they do. So, like, the teams I cover, which Nebraska football is not my, beat, but if I'm going to cover, let's say Nebraska basketball is my main beat, Omaha basketball, Creighton basketball, like all the basketball, if I'm covering that team, guess what? It makes my job a lot easier when those teams win. So I would like them to win. And Nebraska football, same thing. I watch the games. There are times where I'm like, oh man, why didn't whatever, like hit the couch for a second? Not like the New York Jets. The New York Jets, I'm screaming and throwing stuff. So that's way different. But I want Nebraska to be successful. Why wouldn't I? So part of my frustration is not with the Nebraska staff. It is how kids in Nebraska are covered by people that don't watch them
if they don't go to Nebraska.
Actually play games.
I understand.
Okay. Or spend the time to go to practice, but they are the experts in people's minds when they don't live here, don't watch them, maybe go to a game a year, all of those things. So, like, that's my frustration. When I say something to the effect of, well, Nebraska didn't offer, so they're not good enough, that I've said throughout the years, that is not a shot at a coaching staff or anything else. So read between the lines if you want there. That's what I mean by that. So be very transparent there. That's what that is. So it's fun. It's cool. Like, people can not like me and it can be okay. Like, I'm great. I live my life. I work as much as anyone, if not more sometimes. I get frustrated at times.
I'm not going to let you step on your Richard. I'm going to cut you off.
No, I fucking show up.